Hello out there, everybody. Hope that you are doing well. I am Demetra K of the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you to my wonderful moderators for holding down the comment section in everything that you do. It is much appreciated. Today, we're going to have a pretty interesting conversation about wannabe Charlie Kirk influencers getting a wake-up call at Tennessee State University in HBCU. Of course, by now, you probably heard all about what happened. And if you didn't, don't worry. I'll try my best to catch you up to speed as of this moment. And so we'll give everybody just another second or two to come on. In the meantime, let's see who's here. African Native, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Good evening. LaMonica, how are you doing? Thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for that. Panther Strike, what's going on? It says, they keep trying to drag us into their garbage, but I do want our people to be extremely careful around these racist nut jobs. Yep. Michelle, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Miss Sweets, how are you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Mike Nice in the building. How are you? Thank you for reminding everybody to hit the like button when coming on in. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? S. Williams, Tracy, how are you? Carrie, hope you're having a great day. Vanessa, how you doing? Bobby Williams, and shout out to everyone from Vegas. Yes, indeed. Enuma, how are you? Says, I see you're still on planet Earth. Me too. Yeah, we haven't been raptured, sucked up. I don't know. Maybe others have been raptured and we're just kind of left behind. I don't know. We'll see. My daughter was telling me somebody gave up their babies to, I don't know, CPS somebody because they thought they were going to be raptured. It's like, well, wouldn't your kids go with you? I don't know. But nevertheless, they weren't raptured and now they want their children back. But CPS is like, I think we're going to keep the kids because you got something going on. Chalk Chick, how you doing? Harley, hello. Brother Dom, my triple OG moderator. Arneba, how are you? Jerron, what's up? Brother Troy, nice to see you once again. Buck Horse in the building. The Great Hustle. How you doing, John? Hello, Karima, Diane, L2 Fast. Well, I'm gonna get into it. Just watch. Mr. X, how you doing? And Caitlin. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. I think I've tap danced long enough. Ty Freeman, you said the Kirk wannabe is playing the victim, a typical white supremacist behavior. Okay, Kevin, how you doing? All right, so let's get into it because y'all are like kind of like, what are we doing? Anyway, yesterday, as a matter of fact, okay, some guys from this organization called Fearless Debate Tours that sprung up this month, right? Now it says the Fearless Debate Tours is a series of free speech events launched by conservative journalist Cameron Higby in this month, right? The tour aims to honor the legacy of Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, who was assassinated this month, and promote open dialogue on college campuses. Okay. Now, some of the key details about the Fearless Debate Tour is, again, the organizer is Cameron Higby. The purpose, again, is to promote free speech and honor Charlie Kirk, who was, taken out of here at Utah Valley University, September 13th. Now the tour participants set up debate tables on college campuses, like, Charlie Kirk did, to discuss controversial topics. Now, the controversy that happened yesterday, the tour has generated counter protesters. They went to Tennessee State University yesterday, and they were escorted off of the campus after setting up a debate table. And I'm going to show you all that in just a minute, without a permit. Now, the group had posters, and y'all going to see all that slogan saying DEI should be illegal and deport all illegals now, which led to protests from the students and the faculty. Now, it should be said that TSU is predominantly Black, with about almost 80% Black students, about 10% white, and then so on and so forth. So should also be said that the NAACP, they put out a statement, but in part they said, we will not be silenced. We will not allow outside groups to strip away our dignity, safety, and thriving of our students. The time to respond with strength and unity is now. Also, TSU is a public university, which means that they get most of their funding from the state of Tennessee. So here we go. I'm going to show y'all a compilation of videos that I put together.
Mega supporters invaded our HBCU.
What is going on over here?
You called the East primitive, but what? We created y'all knowledge. We created y'all science. We created y'all math. Y'all didn't do besides steal. Y'all didn't do anything to your. You guys didn't make shit. You guys touch children.
Showing them the door.
We walking them to the door, y'all. I don't even know how they got on campus. We gonna figure that out, but I don't know. They need to get like a trespass, like penalty or something, because
Sending them off.
Tell him it's that boy. He thought he was gonna come up like Charlie Kirk,
Yes.
man.
yes,
Yes.
say good job, TSU.
Good job. Shout out to my
Good.
Yeah, they threw a drink up top.
Oh my gosh, they threw a drink up top.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Did somebody just throw something in our car?
Arrest. They just tried to hit the car. They're still hitting the car. Whoa! That was loud.
Okay. So as you saw there, they were, for lack of better words, they were kicked out or off of the campus university. And of course, everything went viral. And those guys there, again, went on to the campus of HBCU, right? If those of y'all don't know what that is, that's a predominantly Black college, wearing their MAGA gear and things like that. Now, of course, they took to their social media. I saw this all on Twitter, and I did a compilation of things here. So Cam, that's his name at the top. It says, today, fearless debate tour table at an HBCU Tennessee State University. And after 10 minutes, a literal riot erupted. They stole our stuff, followed us to our car, attacked the car, shouted Black Power, and blocked our exit of the campus. Our topic was DEI. Okay. Now toward the bottom there, David, that's one of the other guys that was there with them. He says, this was our security guard. Y'all can see he's Black. And, you know, the kids was, they had some nice things to say to him. But it says, this was our security guard. This is how Tennessee State University students treated him. They were just kind of making jokes about him, talking about, oh, look at your shoes. Look at you Black. You know, all that, basically like, what you doing with these people, right? You coming onto a Black college with them, with the foolishness. So they were kind of like shame type of thing, right? Then, of course, the top, the Fearless Tour account says, thanks for posting. So people were posting. And it says, today was crazy. The students definitely did not conduct themselves in a professional and responsible manner, like the university administrator said in a statement. So at the bottom, I'll read it to you because it's kind of small. This was a statement from the university. It says, today, a group of individuals unaffiliated with Tennessee State University appeared on campus without prior notice in accordance with university policy. And a demonstration or protest activity requires an active approval and permitting. Campus police and staff responded promptly, and the individuals were escorted from the university grounds without incident. At all times, TSU students conducted themselves in a professional and respectful manner. The safety and well-being of our students, faculty, and staff remain our highest priority. TSU will continue to uphold university policies and ensure that campus remains a safe, welcoming, and orderly environment for all members of our community. Now, let me remove this really quick. So at the bottom, that was Representative Andy Ogles. I think that's how you said it. You know, now they getting in the mix. Says, why is TSU not condemning this attack against Cam? If a rigorous debate can't happen on college campuses, why are we funding them? So, okay, he's a representative from Tennessee. So let me take all this down. Okay, so now he wants to know, why are we funding them? Now, it should be said, that because TSU is a public university, they don't necessarily need a permit. However, it does say in the verbiage that the university can make rules, but the rules have to be reasonable. So they can't discriminate against groups and things like that. But it sounds like the Fearless Debates Tour didn't even do that. In fact, some of the students said that they came on, they being the white guys, onto the campus, but at first they didn't have their MAGA gear on. But once they sat the table up and things like that, then they put the MAGA gear on. And of course, those students, as y'all saw, was not having it. So of course, now they're going to play the victim like, well, all we were trying to do is go and talk to them about DEI. Well, first of all, if you was interested in having a debate about DEI, why didn't you go to Vanderbilt or Bryn Mawr, college where there's mostly white women? Because that's who benefits from DEI. So you're talking about DEI is illegal. Why would you take yourself onto a HBCU? They don't necessarily benefit from that. But see, they knew what they were doing. They knew that they would take themselves to an HBCU and film it all. And I don't know, maybe they thought the students would debate them, but clearly the students were like, no, get out of here. And I love the young brother in the beginning of it. He was like, we taught y'all, all this, that, and the other. And he said something else that was funny. Y'all probably caught it. If you didn't, then you didn't catch it. But he was letting them know we have to teach y'all everything, right? But basically, y'all get out of here. So they knew what they were doing. Now, of course, you're going to start to see all of the, the usual suspects on Twitter and everything else. I wouldn't be surprised if not already Trump doesn't get involved, Vance, and, all the other people. Never minding that they went onto the campus looking for trouble. They did. They knew what they were doing. But my thing is, did you think those kids was punks? See, they got the heart of Malcolm. They not, no shade to Martin Luther King. They not with all that kumbaya, go ahead and set a table up at our school and be disrespectful and all that other stuff. And I think they have to know that most HBCUs are not MAGA. They're probably blue or Democrat leaning, but they knew exactly what they were doing. And so now them and their people are trying to make it seem like they weren't doing anything wrong. See, you can take that Turning Point USA stuff to other campuses, but do not do that where you're not welcome, right? Now, of course, they're trying to get them the students expelled. And, they said one of the students showed up with a screwdriver. How do you know what he might have been fixing something when you showed up? Because remember, you showed up unannounced. So maybe he was in the midst of fixing something. Maybe you just caught him off guard, right? But again, they want them expelled. Of course, now they're talking about taking their funding and all of that. So I want to see what you guys think. But I will say this, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of those students for not sitting up there and letting them come and disrespect them and all that other stuff. I'm glad that they got ran out of there and that they have a story to tell that, yeah, they wasn't letting us do that to them. So big ups to those students. And hopefully those dudes don't try it again at another school, because some tell me they're going to be waiting for them. So anyway, let me get into the comment section. And what does it say? I was reading something that came up. I don't know what it is, but anyway, okay. Where did I leave off? Yusuf, how you doing? I hope that's where I was. You said stage attack. Yes, by the Fearless group. I would imagine that's who staged it, this so-called attack. Nobody even attacked them. They was just like, get out of here, beat it. Scoop, how you doing? So this is how campus mass pew-pews happen. Another thing too is my daughter and I were speaking about this. It's like we got to be a little bit more vigilant, because even the sister in the first video, she's like, we don't know how they got on here yet, but we're gonna find out. Yeah, you need to be more vigilant, because they just wandering on campus. Now, probably where they didn't really their spidey senses didn't go off is because they do have some white students there. And again, those guys didn't go in all their MAGA gear. They kind of put that on from what they're saying once they sat down. So they were being sneaky in what they were doing. But it is scary because they could be anybody at this point, right? Carrie says, first you make a threat to the school. Now you want to face them. Yeah, remember right after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, a whole bunch of HBCUs got threats to where they had to shut down. because, you know, they didn't know if they were credible or not. But it's like, what did the HBCUs have to do with that? They weren't even at a black school when that happened, but somehow the HBCUs got thrown in it. Okay. Macman, how you doing? Says they came to incite a riot. Yeah, but they're like, well, what did we do? Oh, look at them. They're doing this. And it's, you don't stop. You act just like they mamas. Kimmy, how you doing? Says they shouldn't be allowed to antagonize our kids in school. Yeah, but you know, people think they should be able to do that they should just let them do whatever they want. Well, they just want to come talk to you. They just want to come debate. Well, I don't want to talk to you. You know? But I guess you're supposed to say, yeah, so when you wants to debate me. And that other young brother, they didn't want to debate him. He would have ate their lunch. So they really didn't even come there to do that. Now, mind you, this group just started. Probably not even 2 weeks old at this point. So why y'all choose to go there? And I think they went to Georgia State University, but why y'all go there? Out of one of your first stops. Ish Maya, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Okay. Let's see. Tracy says playing victim for them is the norm, and we know it. Yep, that's why I said like they mamas. Kimmy says, damn, they done ran out of white kids to pew in their own communities. Yeah, well, hopefully they weren't there to do any of that, but I'm glad that those black students was like, not today, not here. Gone with your foolishness, right? Warren, how you doing? Says, keep your head on swivel, family. They are trying to start some mess, for lack of better words. Yep. Albie Chill, how you doing? Diane, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. Brenda, what's going on? It says someone sent them there. Well, they claim that they started this new group, and my thing is, where y'all getting this money from? Where y'all getting this money from? And mind you, them dudes look like they was way older than those college kids. So like Charlie, they said they were patterning it after Charlie. So like Charlie, y'all gonna take your grown selves to college campuses and argue with kids essentially? Why? Why do you get off on doing that? Well, you feel smart because you can go argue down some kids, and it's not even debating, it's arguing. But why they want to do that? Why not go somewhere where there's people their age, right? And set up a tent or a table or whatever and argue with people their own age, people what they have commonality with, but they knew exactly what they were doing. And now they're trying to gin up the mob of they people, you know, by trying to say, oh, we're the victims. We were just trying to, all we wanted to do was just talk. It's like nails to a chalkboard to me. It's insufferable, right? They run around talking about we got black fatigue. First of all, y'all stole that from us, and you know what that really means, right? We tired of y'all. Albert Chill says, we taught y'all everything. Y'all were nothing. That's what the young brother said, right? And it's like he wasn't going to be able to win a debate with him. Lady Diana, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Buckhorse says, MAGA, he says, I'm just watching the X-Men cartoon, Magneto and Magnus, level 5 mutant. I love them. Okay, well, you enjoy that. Panther Strike says, I'm sure Laura Ingram is preparing for a breaking news expose on this. Well, what is the break? You tried it and you failed. The end. Nobody did anything to them. You know, that's like going into the lion's den and saying, oh my God, he bit me. Yes, I know I was wearing state cologne, but he shouldn't have bit me. It's crazy. All right, let me skip down a little bit. Michelle, he says, Miss Sweet, she says, facts, leave the HBCUs alone, go to Yale or Harvard with the BS. Yeah, go over there. Michelle says Trump needs to stop lying. He said that he has stopped 7 wars. I know. And then it sounds like he wanted to do something to the UN because the escalator stopped working and the teleprompter. And then Jesse Waters, I think that's his name, on Fox said that the UN needed to be for the escalator. Like, y'all violent. Like they talking about us being violent, but you violent. And then the other dude, I can't think of his name, but he was sitting up there and he was saying that the homeless people need to be, if they don't want to take treatment, just give them a lethal injection is what he said. Why so violent? You know? Mad Dog, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Tyrone says, hey, Demetra, I'm listening to the hidden secrets of, yes, I'm glad you are. The hidden secrets of Oriental wealth currently. But do you think it's important for Black people to check people like Charlie Kirk or white people? No, because we don't, I mean, I don't even run into people like that at all. So I don't think it's our job to check them. Just stay away from them. That's what we've been told to do. Just stay away from them. I know, especially in this situation, they went and messed with the students, but we just stay away from them. But we don't have anything in common at all. See, them wanting to debate us is really a form of entertainment for them. They're not looking for enlightenment. They're not looking, for anything meaningful. They want some entertainment so they can upload it to their social medias and then say, ha ha, kiki, look what we did. We went on this black, campus, and it worked essentially. Now because when I went on their page, they only had a couple of like views and stuff on their previous stuff. But when this happened, it took off. So it worked. So now they're cosplaying as victims. Brendan says that white supremacy was scared, as you know what. Yeah. And some tells me they knew what was going to happen. And, even the police are like, man, y'all need to get out of here, And then I saw on the post, they were like, well, thank you, the police, this, that, and the other. It's like, yeah, you thanking them for saving your life. Not that I don't think the kids would have done anything to them, but they just didn't like that they were there. Lala, how you doing? Says they were rage baiting all day. Well, how you doing? Says, yes, Queen, the disrespecting of Black people has to stop. Yep. And Lauren, how you doing? Says it doesn't seem like the poors and the bigots who attended Trump's rallies are more intelligent than all of the college grads who became engineers, physicists, and architects. Maybe you disagree? No. I mean, just because they're white don't mean they're smarter than everybody. I know they think that they are, but they're not. Because if you were smart, you wouldn't have went on their campus, but you knew what you were doing, and now they know their people going, oh, look what they did. And they're violent and they were doing this. Wasn't nobody doing nothing to you. You should have never took yourself over there. And then you wouldn't have to worry about any of that. Warren says, Babylon is falling. You ain't lying. All right. Oil King, how you doing? Says the students shouldn't even talk to them at all. They're going to edit all football to make themselves, footage. Edit all footage to make themselves look good. Well, they tried to do it, but, of course, in the day and age of cell phones, those students had cell phones. And they showed, what was going on and things like that. But of course, yeah, they were going to try to. It's like if you don't knock it off, because nobody's even doing anything to you. So yeah, we saw all of the footage and they were the antagonists, which is what they were trying to do. But see, they think they slick and they think we stupid. They think we were going to fall for, we were just trying to talk to y'all. Well, my God, we were just trying to have a conversation with you. And look how you act. We were trying to be civil. So you might have been civil, but you chose violence when you went on there with the DEI signs and the MAGA hats. You knew what you were doing. It was like, like I said, throwing red meat to a lion. And then you don't complain when you get ate up. Monique, how you doing? He says, thanks for keeping us informed on these important topics. It's my pleasure. And thank you for being here. Karima, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. Beverly White, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Miss Sweets acting like 20-year-old Karens, and I think they're older than that. I don't even think they're college students. But my thing is, where y'all getting this money and this funding from all of a sudden to be doing these college tours where y'all getting on campuses messing with people? What do y'all do for a living? Is this a nonprofit or something? Because, we've heard somewhat as to how Turning Point USA got funded. So is it the same thing? And are we going to see all of these types of groups popping up and plopping a table down with signs talking about, I'm here to debate you? Are they going to show up on our streets? See, this is how you know they really ain't about that life. Because why didn't you go to Memphis? Or, Compton, the south side of Chicago, the 5th or the 3rd ward here in Houston? Why y'all didn't go there? If you really want to have a debate with people, why you didn't go there? Because you know better. And it wasn't going to be no story to tell if you went up in there with the foolishness. See, they know what they're doing. But again, as I said, I'm proud of those kids for letting them know not today. Let's see who else. Dark Raider, how you doing? It says, don't give them any energy. They always believe the lies. Yeah, but thank God for cell phone. And I agree, don't give them any energy. But I honestly think those kids were their own school. They were where they were supposed to be, right? Minding their business. And then those dudes show up with the foolishness. So, the kids were doing what they're supposed to do. And I don't think they did anything wrong by letting them know, get out of here. Because as the sister said, how'd they even get on here? So they need to have a talk with security. Macklin says they're coming to Florida high schools too. The high schools? And who let Florida's, Florida. They are really with the foolishness. So yeah, they might be letting them on high school campuses. But if your children are in high school there in Florida, just tell them to stay away from them. Do not bid them good day, Godspeed, nothing. No hello, no nothing. Just keep pushing. You know. L, how you doing? Says kids are the future. Absolutely. And they think they're going to go in there and do what with them? That's why we got to wake our own children up. We got to start having conversations with our own children, right? Miss Sweet says, exactly, who's funding these people to do this? Yep. Let me skip down. And Solomon, how you doing? He says that's how they move. It's weird for 30-year-olds to go debate college kids. It was weird for Kirk when he did it, and it's still weird. And if they're tired of us, why do they follow us everywhere? Exactly. Out of all the colleges in America, you go there, and then you put on all sorts of MAGA gear and all of that, and you knew what you were doing. You incited this riot. And then they showed their car, talking about, look what they did to our car. And I thought it was very mild considering, right? Now, just a couple of scratches here and there. It'll be all right. Yusuf, he says, no more lies. We don't want to talk to a fool or a racist. Yeah, just go on with the foolishness. Let's see. Enuma says, don't whines, crying, begging, pathetic little tariff man. I think you're talking about Trump. Renz, how you doing? Vanessa says they probably came to pass out from tainted, you crazy, Tylenol. Yeah, that whole Tylenol conversation is crazy, okay? I don't know. It's insane. Jamarsha, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says the young man on campus was schooling, wasn't he? I love it. I don't know who his parents are, his circle of influence, but high five to them. Because that young man showed up and showed out, did he? He says, we taught y'all everything. So what was you really going to debate about? You know, he come and talk about DEI. And something tells me those kids know they don't benefit from DEI. So he was going to be, both of them was going to be outmatched, even just talking to that young man. So yes, I love it. Let's see. Naima, how you doing? Says MAGA is not entitled to our conversation, attention, or debate. Why didn't they join Kirk's organization to try to schedule a debate for those that are open to it? They impose themselves. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Why y'all wait till now? That's why I said how many more of these organizations are going to pop up to antagonize people. And I saw, I think it was last week somewhere, some white guy, I don't know if he was a group or whatever, he tried to get into a black church. And they blocked them from going in. It's like, what you going in there for? See, Dylan Roof woke the black church up. So what is you doing here? How can we help you? Hallelujah. No, you cannot come in here. You don't want to come in here, to sit down and be quiet. You're trying to bum rush the church for what? Of course, people were mad. Oh, they wouldn't let him in the church. It's like, I don't blame them. I mean, like I said, Dylan Roof woke everybody up. You don't look like you belong up in here. No, you can't come up in here. I'm sorry. Fill out a membership application or whatever it is you need to do. We'll background check it and we'll get back to you. Jersey, how you doing? Says, don't go where you're not wanted and don't stay where you're not welcome. They understand. They just don't respect it. Yeah, but they've never respected Black people at all. They think that they could do whatever they want because they've learned that from their granddaddies who learned it from his daddy and they daddy and they daddy and they daddy, right? And they think that Black people are, insignificant pieces of property where we can just impose ourselves on them. And then when we, snap back, they're like, why? We were just and only, they try to deduce it down to they was just doing this. Oh, wasn't that big of a deal? Why y'all tripping and all this other stuff? It's like, no, we don't belong to you and we don't owe you nothing. See, sometimes I get into conversations and they kind of heated with people who are like, oh, well, not all of them are bad. And I'm like, I never said all of them were bad. I don't deal in absolutes anyway. But I'm not going to treat them better than they treat me, right? Some of our people, we really got that messed up. Oh, well, we need to try to, common, right? Extend the olive branch of love. Why do we need to do that? So we got to unlearn that. We don't owe them nothing at all. Because, see, the minute we feel like we owe them something, then we end up in the backyard after a sleepover with a whole bunch of them, and they talking about we don't know what happened to her. She just woke up dead. Still, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. African Native says, them folks are a very miserable group of people. Yeah, they hate black people for absolutely no other reason other than we're black. So you're gonna go and antagonize those kids, and you got a rude awakening, as you should have. Panther Strike says Queen Demetra, dark money is what fueled Charlie Kirk, and now the same money is pushing MAGA aggression against our people, which is why we don't bid them any salutations at all. They say hello, be like, and keep it pushing. A black revolutionary now, how you doing? Says, if them white supremacists really wanted to have a debate with those black students, why didn't they go through the proper channel and contact the HBCU and have a conversation? We see their BS. Exactly, because the university said they didn't ask for permission or permit. Not that you necessarily need one, but the campus, they can impose certain rules like, hey, at least let us know you coming on here, what you want to talk about, where you going to be, right? Because I think there's a thing about a time, space, and something like that rule. At least let us know why you're coming on here. At least we know why you're here and that you're here. But they didn't do that. They just showed up. And them students showed out. Ty says, Cam Kirk Wannabe, he's 25. Okay. So he, if he would have went to college at 18, he would have more than likely been out of there. So it's like, why are you going there? Go to other 25-year-olds and have that conversation with them. Or invite some real scholars out or people who can have that conversation with you. See, they don't never want to do that. I mean, even with Charlie Kirk, you never really saw him debate anybody who could really just eat his lunch. So he went to a lot of college campuses because they're still learning. Samuel, how you doing? It says, kudos to TSU students for eating their lunch. I should have read your comment. Yes. Troy says, I just think they are trying to come to us since we are going to these protests to be vilified. Since we're not going, or we're going to these protests to be vilified by them. Yeah, well, we've always been a target of them. They've always wanted to mess with black people. That's what they do. But see, yeah, like you said, now we just like none of this has anything to do with us, and they can't stand it. Because even with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a lot of them really thought it was probably going to be somebody that looked like us, an immigrant or something like that, and that it wasn't. It was like, and then the next day or so, they go targeting HBCUs who had absolutely nothing to do with it at all, which goes to show you they just hate black people and they want to bring us into the foolishness. And we're like, no, thank you. I'm a pass. Kimmy says that truck would have been on bricks in Memphis. They would have had to walk off the campus. Yeah, they know where to go and where not to go, right? Warren says they all scared to wash their, you crazy, nasty butts evil down. Rod, how you doing? Says, where can we see the video? So if you go back to the beginning, and then, come back or put it on double speed. That's what I do when I catch somebody's live and I catch it late. I put it on double speed until it catches up, but you can catch it at the beginning. Isaac, how you doing? Says, salute to black young adults standing on business. Yep. One who cares. How you doing? FBA Strong, what's going on with you? Says, the college campuses need to issue rules on visits and trespassing and limit the number. So they were definitely trespassing because they did not have permission to be there. So that's why they were able to put them off for trespassing. But again, we just wanted to debate. We just want to have a conversation with them about DEI. Like, and then illegal, you want to talk about illegal immigration? That ain't got nothing to do with them. Go, I don't know, go somewhere where that may be an issue. But why are you on a black campus talking about deportation and stuff? See, they went half-baked anyway because they think they the smartest person in every room. So we just going to go and pretend that we're smart because they think they're smarter than everybody else. So they're going to go on there with topics that has nothing to do with those kids and debate them over what? Just, again, think they the smartest people. Lance, how you doing? It says them folks expect to rapture without judgment after, and your comment cut off the rapture. Woman Queen, how you doing? Say you proud, Joe. What's going on? She said the young men knew what they were doing. They got the film footage. They wanted to try to show black people as savages. Yeah, but it backfired because those black students was like, yeah, we got camera phones too, homie. And it showed them kind of, quivering a little bit. And if you weren't doing anything wrong, see, this is again where they think we stupid. If you weren't doing anything wrong, then why'd you take a security guard with you? If you thought what you were doing was just and only, we're just trying to talk to them, then why did you bring a Sambo, the security guard? Because like, what was he gonna do? You know, why did you bring security? Because you knew he was getting the crunk. You knew he was ginning up the mob. You knew he was, feeding red meat to lions. That's why you brought the security guard. But what was he gonna do? Please, no, stop. Don't do that. Please. They're just here to debate. Don't calm down. I mean, like, what was he gonna do? Okay, here's the rest of your comment. Lancer says, them folks expect to be raptured without no judgment, especially after all the chaos they created on earth. I think not. Maybe that's why that lady gave her kids away. I don't know, the CPS or whatever, because she probably thought, I don't know, maybe I don't know what she thought. It was crazy. But yeah, you got a point. Osaya, I hope I said that right. How you doing? It says they would have forgotten about the Montgomery brawl. They don't want that action, which is why they took a security guard, one of them, mind you, and he would just look like, hey, listen, I saw the ad in Craigslist or whatever, and I applied for it. And I'm here. I didn't know that they was trying to do all of this, right? That's how the security guard was looking like. Yeah, nah, this is just a one-day gig for me. But of course, it says they hate us because we're the direct children of the living God. That's all. You better tell them again. Who else? Cassius, how you doing? Says, to be honest, the Zionists are the backer of the Turning Point USA. These Benjamin Netanyahu's have been again up for a long time. I think you comment at the end. I have no idea. I've heard, it's a lot of stuff coming out, and honestly, we'll probably never know, right? Yes, I heard about the TikTok situation as to who bought it, which is why I haven't really posted on there in a minute, because I'm like, I want to see what's going on before I say anything else on there. Not that I haven't already said too much. Nina, how you doing? Says the point is that they have never showed up on campus concerned about opinions any other time. Right. It's a new group, probably 2 weeks old, if that. So they're new. They said they got inspired after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So they're really new. They need to, probably get a little bit more together. Tahada, how you doing? Says, call them talking points. Says talking points. USA, because all they do is give talking points for white people not being accountable and responsible. But again, that's what I said about Charlie Kirk. A lot of people saying, well, what he was saying was true and it was right, and I don't see the problem. And I've heard this from some black people, believe it or not. I'm like, I don't care. He was 100% right. We never gave him permission to speak to us. He was never appointed to be the get the Negroes together spokesperson, right? That guy McFly, how you doing? Says, where are all the protections that Jewish kids get on campus? Because exactly, if they would have went to one of those campuses, oh my God, it'd have been a lot going on, right? But no, it's HBCUs. They don't see us as worthy of that at all. Now, of course, the Trump administration gave a whole lot of money to HBCUs, and now they're talking about these people on Twitter talking about they should have their funding taken and all kind of stuff. Why? Because they wouldn't let some little white kids bully them. They should be punished, expelled, and all of that. They were where they were supposed to be, at school. And so they should be punished because they won't allow, Master's great grandkids to subjugate them. See, that's the foolishness we talking about. And for those who say, oh, well, racism is over, and no, it's not. It just looks a little bit differently. But here in 2025, they think they can go and subjugate black children because they feel like it, Estella, how you doing? Says they are just interviewing to take over Kirk. It's a grift. Yeah, a lot of them are grifting, but they gonna end up with the wrong grift. Catch my drift. Flashback, how you doing? Says, why do the school administration allow them to antagonize the kids? Doesn't sound like they knew they were there. Sounds like they just kind of popped up like, hello, we're here to debate. And yes, we got on MAGA stuff and want to talk to y'all about DEI and deportation. So it don't sound like the admin even knew. Nobody knew. They just kind of popped up unannounced. Because again, they didn't show up with the MAGA gear. They put that on once they set up and things like that. And there are some white kids on the that are students there. It's like 10% of the student body are white. So I can see why they would think, okay, maybe they're students. I don't know, because they didn't have on the gear. But then, of course, when they put the gear on and they set the table up, then it was like, oh, okay, that's the type of time y'all on. Bet. Jerron says they are showing us how they are rising up again by increasing these PPUs, taking themselves out, plus innocent people. Yeah, like that in Dallas at the ICE detention center, where they said that it was detainees that were shot. And then Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, he released photos of these bullets that said anti-ICE. But people were like, well, if the person who did the, shooting was anti-ICE, why did they hit detainees? It doesn't make any sense, Of course, we'll probably never know. Brenda, he says they need to debate you, Phil, Black Alpha, Afro Elite, and all the top FBAs, the real debate. Yeah, they're not going to do that, though. They're not. And even, what's his name, Ben Shapiro, when he went on the Breakfast Club, and, everybody was like, oh, he did a good job, and Charlemagne and them, they didn't. Well, I don't know necessarily if Charlemagne and them didn't know how to debate him, or they purposely didn't debate him, because there's a whole lot of conspiracy theories out there as to why they didn't. But yeah, a lot of us watched and was like, man, how y'all let him get away with all this foolishness? Because he wouldn't have got away with it with me. Hello, Easy. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Ishmaya, how you doing? Says Mr. Mitra, weren't they supposed to be raptured today? I guess that's what I heard. I'm not in that portal per se. I haven't seen any rapture stuff on any of my timelines. My daughter's been telling me about it. I didn't even know, outside of the Bible, that a rapture conversation was going on until she told me. I was like, word? I don't know if they're going to be raptured. They might be raptured. I don't know. Miss Sweet says, folks on TikTok are doing too much. Rapture, did we make it or no? Yeah, it's like, that's it. Maybe the rapture happened and we are in hell. Maybe we got left behind for some reason. I don't know. Estella says they really mad about Mackenzie Scott donated, $70 million to HBCUs. That's the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, right? Owner of Amazon. But she does that often. She donates money all the time, as I think she was at one point in time, but she's the richest woman in the world, maybe still. I don't know if that's changed. But, when she and Jeff divorced, he gave her half without any question. She can have whatever she wants. And I think that, because it was already her money, right? But it made her, I think, the wealthiest woman in the world. So she's got money to burn. That was probably interest, in no time. And she's like, oh, give it to the HBCUs, which is good, right? Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? And Albie Chill says, facts, if he cares so much, he should have been pushing for reparations. So you're talking about, Charlie Kirk was not for no reparations. And he said he wasn't, right? I mean, even on Juneteenth, he was like, in his car, I'm going to work, because why should they get a special holiday and all this other nonsense? But they trying to give him one. In fact, I also saw that they trying to make like $400,000 pieces with commemorative coins with his face on it. Andrea, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Adrian, what's going on? Says hello from Baltimore. Lady D, how you doing? So they always coming around us. Yeah, and it's like, why? Stay away from us, please. Stay away. For real. Michelle says the white robes are rising again. Keep your head on swivel, family. They are trying their best to provoke us, and we're not falling for it. We're just like, you know what? We're really just trying to do our thing, but they can't stand it. They already got the immigrants on the run. We ain't going nowhere. So they have a insatiable need to needle with people. And they've always needled with us. Now they're doing it to the immigrants, and now they're back to trying to do it with us. But we're just like, we're not interested. Not today. And they can't stand it. Negroes, how you doing? Says HBCUs are still under threat. I bet they were scoping out the place looking for you know what? Same thing I told my daughter. Said maybe it was like a dry run or something. You know what I mean? To see how easy it would be to infiltrate or whatever the case is. But it's really scary because God forbid they were on, trying to do something to them. It would have been very easily because they were able to, drive a car on there and set up and all of that. And they could have very easily taken some weapons on there and did the unthinkable. So that should be a wake-up call to all HBCUs. Like, if Brad and them don't look like they go here, you need to, let me see ID. Are you a student here? What you doing here? Pop the trunk. All of that. Let's see. Warren, you say, have you seen a video in New York where they tried to a brother, but the community saved them? When did that happen? Because I haven't seen that at all. Enuma says, didn't a lady by the name of Mackenzie Scott donate $70 million to HBCUs colleges lately? Yeah, that's Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, the owner of Amazon. She does that a lot. So it's not the first time she's done it. She does it quite often. Raven, how you doing? Says, we already in hell. You ain't lying. Negro says 2020 was the rapture. COVID was the rapture. Okay, well, we didn't make it. We all stuck here. I guess that kind of makes sense. 48 TCO, how you doing? He says, the Lord ain't leave me behind, Miss Demetri. Them folks just lying. Because you're like, Black Americans have been through enough, okay? To be left behind, I'm sorry, Jesus. You got to give us a do-over because we've been through enough. You need to suck us up. However it happens, you need to come back and get us. Because I'm with you on that one. Kelly, how you doing? Says, I'm going to work on his holiday. What day is the 14th? I don't even know. But y'all know that's George Floyd's birthday too. I know they like, is it really George Floyd's birthday too? Because they know we going to act a fool. Oh, yes, it's going to be a lot of line dancing. It's going to be a whole lot of spades playing, fish fries, barbecues. It's going to be a whole lot of that. Happy birthday, George. They couldn't have given him a better day. One who cares, you crazy. Talk about, I'll pass on them coins. I'm going to let you say it. I'm just letting you know that they thinking about making some coins. Shaw, how you doing? So this whole CK thing is a grift. Yeah, everybody making money off of it. Everybody. Mike Nice says, word up Wednesday. Yep. Easy says that's exactly what they're doing on campus. They were casing the place. I think so too. I think so. And again, it was very easy for them to set up and walk around the place. But, the students, thank God they were vigilant and like, y'all don't belong here. Negro says Black students should walk out until the investigation with Terry Reed is over. They're not safe. Yeah, Terry Reed, Mississippi. Yeah, Mississippi, a couple of weeks ago was found on a tree, if you will. And of course, they said he did that to himself. Y'all remember we was talking about it? Was it last week or something like that? And they cut the live clean off. I didn't even know what happened, right? Y'all was just gone. They ended the live baby in YouTube because they thought I was talking about myself. Sent me an email and everything. But yeah, I guess they're still investigating, and Colin Kaepernick is paying for a different, another autopsy and medical exam and things like that, so they can get down to the truth. Because, out of all the ways to do something to yourself, that I ain't buying it. Marjorie says, and let's keep it that way, Demetri. Let them slither and roll on their bellies. We just need to stay on code. As for the rapture, like I said, I just started hearing about this whole rapture thing outside of the Bible, and I didn't even know it was a conversation until my daughter jokingly was telling me about it. Tracy says, I'm sorry, I do what I want. He says, I'm sorry, I do what I do best. My couch and snacks. I know that's right. Scoop, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. He says, they really think that I am white and I say so works on us. We don't trust or believe them. No, that don't work on us. Some of them, they might. or whatever the case is, but that don't work on us. And, you know, like I said, I'm from California, born and raised, and things are just a tiny bit different out there. See, because and I'm not saying everybody, you know, there's everybody in California is not afraid of them. There are some, but for the most part, we like you white. And what does that mean to anybody? So, yeah, Kimmy says they're going to change the date after that. I know, right? It's like, can we give him a different birthday? Because the blacks are really cutting up. We can't even celebrate, you know, or CK because they talking about George Floyd. Man, y'all know we going to flood social media on October 14th. And they're going to hate it. I mean, George Floyd is older. Not his fault that his birthday fell on the same day as CK. It's not his fault. So it's not ours either if we choose to celebrate it. I'm just saying. Now watch him say, oh, they're being hateful. They're celebrating George Floyd's birthday. It's his birthday, the day he was born. What are we supposed to do? I don't know. African Native says, I think Cash Patel's parents were among those East Indians that got kicked out of Uganda by Idi Amin. You think so? Cash Patel is a mess. Somebody somewhere, I can't remember where it was, they put a hologram or something of him on the wall. And y'all know how his eyes be. They had his eyes doing like that to Rockwell's. I always feel like somebody's watching me and the eyes are... I don't think he's gonna be in the job long because they have labeled him everything but an FBI director. Easy says everybody need to be on alert now on George Floyd's birthday. Yeah, I'm gonna be in the house. I'm always in the house, to be honest with you. Buckhorse says this crap is serious. Yeah, it is serious. And Michelle says HBCUs better take note of that young man that was to protect the campus, right? Because what were they really doing there on the campus? See, they're more upset that they got ran off, opposed to, well, why was you really here? Was you really here to debate? Like, for real? Come on, you can be honest with us. Because, well, last week or so, HBCUs were being threatened, and here y'all come. So what were you really doing here? Because, you know, if it was some black kids that went on to a predominantly white college, they would have, FBI and everybody would have been involved. What y'all doing here? They'd have ran everything they could think of. They backgrounded everything until they found something that was plausible, right? So where's the investigation into these cats? There should be one. Flips Players Bra, how you doing? Says, I'm just going home and I'm going home now. So I'm going back and what? I'm assuming that's a song. Okay, well, how you doing? Queen Adaya, hello. How you doing? Let's see. Kevin, how you doing? Says, what often goes unspoken is that many of the young white debaters, along with some Gen X, are leaning on things like Adderall, Kratom, and various nootropics. Perhaps. I don't know anything about that. Take your word for it, I guess. Yes, Marjorie, no weapons formed against us. Absolutely. African Native says, especially black women, move with a black partner on the streets. You ain't lying. They tell us over and over again, don't be out there in the streets by yourself if you don't have to be. Jerron says, all these white radio folks are still trying to associate blacks with Kirk stuff. We had nothing to do with it. He rarely spoke to us. I know there were some on the campuses that he visited, you know, black kids or whatever that would go talk to him, but we didn't have nothing to do with that. Most of us didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was, honestly. Most of y'all probably know, most people you talk to was probably like, who? Charlie Brown? No, don't tell me. They took Charlie Wilson. You know, most people didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. So that had nothing to do with us. I haven't spoken to anybody that thinks that what happened to him should have happened to him. Everybody I spoke to said it was messed up. You should not have your life taken over words or a debate or whatever the case is. And I would say, you know, we didn't like what he was saying, but he, for the most part, was debating peaceably, if you will. So nobody thinks that he should have had his life taken, but we didn't have anything to do with it at all. In fact, even with the investigation into the dude who did it, I haven't heard them say anything about any black friends or anything like that. So I don't know. Lady D says boots on the ground, says with the tool on your waist. I know that's right. 48 TCO says how the rapture gonna come before the spaceship get here. Can't forget the mothership, baby Bubba. Yeah, there's supposed to be one at the end of October that's supposed to show up. Remains to be seen or whatever, but maybe they're one and the same. I don't know, but you make a good point. Miss Sweet says, wait, they have the same birthday? Yeah. Like, no lie, legitimately, CK and GF got the same birthday, October 14th. No lie. Like I said, God got a really good sense of humor. They're probably like, we can't have nothing. Well, we feel the same way. Queen of Dice says, so foolish that that is his day of birth. Yeah. Can't help when the day you were born, right? Michelle says, I saw that earlier, Demetra. Easy. Y'all saw that. Easy says, Cash always looks like he on nose candy. That is what they say. He always looks very surprised. And I thought I had some big eyes, but his is, it's like that don't hurt. Estella says in South Carolina, they talking about putting, so I just said that on the coin. Listen, it's like, okay, Honey Badger, how you doing? Says colleges should ignore these events. If I were them, they're being brainwashed. It's obvious. Yeah, you can ignore, but you can't just be letting them walk all up and through the campus because, again, Dylan Roof, he was allowed to go sit in the church there in South Carolina. Oh yeah, come on in. It wasn't even no church like service. They was choir practicing. So the deacon should have said, come on back, Sonny, on Sunday. We in here singing to the Lord, but they didn't. So I think a lot of Black institutions have just learned a hard lesson. Like, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, see, when they come up in the mosque, and if you've ever been in a mosque, you'll know you got to walk through a detector. Back in the day, they didn't have the detectors, but they, searched you and you have to stomp your feet, turn around, and they pat you down and all that. I don't care who you are. You getting pat down, right? They searching you or whatever the case is. And he says, see, people, and I'm paraphrasing, always got something to say about us doing that. But he said that Black church, God love them, right? They didn't even question him. Just let him come on. Oh, come on in. And then sat him behind them, turned their backs on him, and then the rest is history. And what are the deacons for? Yeah, I ain't never seen this cat up in this church. You don't got no questions for him. The Lord said, be wise, right? And how you doing, sir? Can we help you? We never seen you around here before. Is there a reason that who? Because remember they say, who brought you to church? Or what brings you in here? See, did y'all ask him any of that? Or did y'all say, hey, sit down, we're just practicing? And it's crazy, actually, when you really think about it. Jessica, how you doing? Renee, what's going on? Says, looking for trouble and they still find it. Yep. And then try to play victim like somebody did something to them. For Quan, how you doing? Says, leaning on hitting that steel and calisthenics every day. Yep. Calisthenics is good. If you can't go to the gym, use your own body weight, right? Yep. Lady D says they mad because we don't care, and we really don't. We don't. Our Negro says I heard of Kirk, but honestly, I confuse him with Nick Fuentes. A lot of people did, and he a whole nother piece of work. I gotta use my fan. I'm starting to sweat. Naima says I didn't have any knowledge of CK. Most people didn't. Buckhorst says I knew him and Alex Jones, and that's another one, right? LaShonda, how you doing? Marty says, Demetra, what do you think about Turning Point going into our schools with their ideologies about Kirk being a saint or whatever they're calling him? Yeah, I know the Department of Education is trying to implement that. Oklahoma says that they're going to have that in all of their schools or whatever somehow. Like I said, I'm glad that my child is not school age. I'm really glad. But if she was, I would not have my daughter in those schools. You're not teaching my daughter anything like that. I don't care. That's just me. I don't like it, because on one hand, they don't want to teach real American history. But they want to teach, what you going to teach? That black kids, they bad because their daddies ain't in the home, and black women are welfare queens, and Juneteenth is socks, and, and the reparations, they didn't. Is that what you're going to teach? Why would anybody with some sense, or anybody else, who they talk bad about, why would you want your kids sitting up under that? They're not going to let your kids sit up and hear about slavery, which is not fictional. It's American history. But they don't want the kids to hear about that, though. But they want you to sit your black child up in whatever it is and be indoctrinated with your daddy ain't ish, your mama ain't either, and you, y'all the most of this. I was about to say something indignant. Let me not get worked up. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Ooh, I'm at the hour mark. Fair use. It says pawns for the antediluvian. I don't even know what that is, but I guess. Mad Dog says, don't fall asleep. Yep. Who else haven't I seen? Ren says, and that DK they have took. Oh, yeah. Dylan Roof took him to Burger King because, he was hungry. You hungry, son? We know you just gunned down a whole bunch of black people in the church, but you're probably hungry after doing that, huh? I'd imagine you worked up an appetite after you did that. It's crazy because they felt sorry for him. And the crazy part is the people in the church felt sorry for him. In fact, they stood up and said they don't want him to get the death penalty, and they forgive him. These are the victims' families that stood up there and said, we forgive them. And that's what Farrakhan said too. We always forgiving them, even when they never asked. They're not even asking for the forgiveness, but I forgive you. Silliness. Kenya, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. You also say they just can't leave us alone. Nope. As much as they say they hate us, they just got to be around us. I get it. We dope and dynamic. I get it. I want to be around us too, right? Hero, how you doing? Easy. You say, and that's why they keep doing it. Exactly, because Oz forgives you. Oh, just give you a hug. Can I give her a hug? This lady took your brother out of here who was in his house eating ice cream, watching TV, minding his black business, and you want to give her a hug. And you were allowed to give her a hug. And the bailiff, Amber Geiger, the lady in Dallas that did that to Botham John, the bailiff is, straightening her hair, and the black judge wants to give her Bible. I was like, surely this has got to be punked. This can't be real. This lady took your brother's life, and y'all, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I wish she didn't have. The brother said, I wish she didn't have to go to jail. I'll never understand it. I never will. Joe, how you doing? It says dope and dynamic. Yes, I like that saying, dope and dynamic. Faquan says, wait a minute. Real Americans of European descent are Christians. They don't believe in unaliving human beings in churches. Come on now, you better stop. What kind of Christianity are they talking about? And that's the same Christianity they taught our people on the plantation, and we've been practicing it ever since. See, I don't think we ought to be practicing anything they taught us, because y'all know they didn't teach it to us right. Y'all know they taught us to bow down and take it, obey your master. When you get to heaven, you'll be washed white as snow, and whatever would I want to be washed that color. Which is why a lot of us got a little self-hate, right? With our color, run around skin bleaching and all the other foolishness we do, because we were taught that, you know what? You're black. But when you go to heaven, you're going to be washed white as snow. Why? I just want to take a show of hands. Who want to be washed white as snow? All this beautiful, yes, I said beautiful melanin, and I want to be washed white as snow? Why? But see, I've heard that in church, and I wasn't on the plantation. I've heard that in church before. Wash white as snow. Think about the insanity of that. Like, oh, that's a prize, ain't it? Like, why don't I just right now and go up to heaven and be washed white as snow? What is I waiting for? And do we know anybody that's gone up there and was washed white as snow and said, oh, wow, well, look at that. And we don't know nobody who's done that. But again, the Christianity that they taught us on the plantation, they was getting all the milk and honey on here on earth while we wasn't even getting a biscuit. And if you tried to get a biscuit from master's table, they whip your back. But yet they teaching us, oh, just wait, obey master, and we still acting like that now. See, that kind of stuff makes me mad, which is partially why I don't go to church, right? Because I'm like Nat Turner, like, word? Because that's what happened with him. He found out that he was being lied to. And for whatever reason, the mistress, she took a liking to him. She taught him how to read, but told him to stay away from certain things like the truth. And when he got a hold of that, his mind was blown. He's like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me what you are doing to me and my ancestors and all that is wrong? You mean to tell me that I don't have to put up with it? Oh, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth? Because that's what he learned. They didn't want us to learn that. They don't want us to learn that now. But we are supposed to endure hell on earth while we watch them get all the getting. That's what I always ask, who they praying to? Are we praying to the same God? Surely we're not. Because what God are they praying to where they're able to do this, that, and the other? And we shall overcome and it'll go by and by. We gonna get by. Now, hell no. I don't even sing stuff like that. But that's what we've been taught to do. So we got to unlearn that. And that's why I say, too, they want to put this turning point stuff in these schools. What kind of fool must you be if you let your child stay in a school like that and listen to any of that? Who are you? See, we as Black people got to rearrange our understanding here in America about who we really are, because who they've taught us to be, we are not that. That's who they want us to be, but we are not that. See, they know who we are, which is why they spent so much time brainwashing us to believe that we are subservient and that we got to bend down and bend over and scratch when we don't itch. And I'm going to be washed white and snow. That's why they have to do that, because they already know who we are. But you know what? They know we don't know who we are, which is why they spend so much time. And listen, I'm not in this portal I'm about to tell you about, but right now on Twitter, Cardi B and this rapper and that rapper and this rapper and that rapper and all of the dudes and the female rappers, they fighting and telling on each other and calling each other. And I said, that's a big old distraction. See, that's the kind of stuff they got to do to us so we do not learn who we are. They have to pour millions and billions of dollars into television and music and all kind of stuff that's aimed toward us to keep us in the gutter, because they can't afford for us to really know who we are. They can't afford for us to really get knowledge of self, because the people with knowledge of self do not do the things that we do or continue doing the things that they taught us to do. And then they turn around and talk about, look at Black people. And then, CK, and I'm imagining this group, they'll eventually get to talking about how Black men and fathers are deadbeats and they're not in the home, but you don't want to talk about the original deadbeat baby daddy, and that's the white man that left all those babies on that plantation and those slave women who wasn't wanting his funky behind on top of them. See, they don't have that conversation. See, if they really want to teach the truth in those schools, then teach that truth. See, they don't want their kids knowing that about them. I'll tell you right now, I did a story and it's coming out on African Diaspora News Channel next week of a white man that taught his white baby. For whatever reason, this white little kid got a George Floyd doll. Y'all might have seen it. I don't even know they had George Floyd dolls. So that's the kind of stuff they do. The little boy had a George Floyd doll, kid you not, and the white daddy told him to put him on the ground and put your knee on his neck. And that little boy did. That little boy couldn't have been no more than 3. So they teaching their children to do that in 2025. Y'all know they used to have pickaninnies back in the day with the watermelon, and they, for whatever reason, they get off on collecting that type of stuff. They like to see Black people in the most lowest degraded state possible. And here we are in 2025. They want to teach their kids to put their knees on the necks of Black dolls who were taken out of here in the most horrific way. But they don't want to teach their children the truth about who they really are. But you know why? They won't teach their children that? Because you won't teach your children that. And that's why. See, if they knew your children knew the truth about them and knew had knowledge of self, then they'd be like, the cat is already out the bag. Cat's already out the bag. So we got to wake up. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here before I get in trouble, and I probably already have. So anyway, I love and appreciate y'all. Tomorrow is our Friday. We will be back here. It is abuse, Joe. And then he put it on the internet. He put it on the internet of showing his child how to put a knee on a doll's neck of George Floyd. Where did y'all know there was a doll like that? I've never seen that doll until today. And so what happens when your little white child go to school and do that to one of their classmates, and the classmate, oh, he was just playing. He didn't mean nothing by it. Well, guess what? My child didn't mean nothing by it either. I hope he'll be all right. Because, see, that's what I taught my child. I didn't teach my child to let them bully her because they tried. I didn't teach my child that. And the school knew that. My child's coming here for an education. But if she got to, she will whoop behind if she need to. And we'll just let the chips fall where they may, but she's not coming here to be bullied by you and nobody else. So it's scary out there, but that's the kind of stuff they do. So get some knowledge of self, Black people. Find out who you are. And when we find out who we are, there's nothing they could do or say. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. In the meantime, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Peace.